GetRXd Optimus is one of the most versatile attachments that you can possibly get for your squat rack. With its dual attachment ports, seat pad, leg roller, and even back pad that you can attach, the versatility is simply unmatched in comparison to other products in this category, at least that I've seen. However, it is not without its flaws. There are some things that make me quite furious, as you will see later in the video, so let's dive into it. Full disclosure, I did pay for this attachment with my own money. However, I did get a discount from GetRXd because I was purchasing it for review. If you want to support the channel so that I can continue to purchase things like this to review for you guys, consider using the link down in the description, which will help out the channel at no additional cost to you. Right out of the gate, one of the things that sets the Optimus apart from similar products is they look at this as a base that you can build onto, kind of like with your rack. It's the starting point that you can build out from there. And you can actually buy any of these attachments a la carte. By default, it comes with the frame and the seat. You can buy the leg roller separately. You can buy the full back pad separately. And with all of these attachments, and who knows, potentially future attachments as well, and the multiple attachment points for these attachments, it unlocks a whole new level of versatility. It turns it into a lat pull seat, a chest supported row pad, a standing incline pad, a hip thrust pad, and then you have your leg rollers to do exercises like Nordics, split squats, and sit-up variations. And you can even turn this into a straight up upright bench or incline bench as well, which is just an insane amount of versatility for a rack attachment. It is highly adjustable. There are 8 height adjustments on the seat, 7 height adjustments on the leg roller, 7 height adjustments on the full back pad, and 8 angle adjustments on the front attachment port. As I mentioned, the Optimus is probably the most versatile piece in this category. However, it lacks a lot of the nice to haves that something like the Rep Pegasus has. For example, when you go to attach this to the upright, it gets a little bit cumbersome. It relies on a screw knob on the back of the 1-inch bolt to lock it into place, because there is a lot of play without it. And so you have to hold on to this, and then there is no slot to put the safety pin into like with the Pegasus. And so you have to hold on to all of this stuff and then pull this out, slot it in where you want it. Because of the grooves of this pin, it makes it just the tiniest hair a little bit more difficult to slot in. And then you have to tighten that down, and then you put in the additional pin. Now, it's not the end of the world, but if you're a newer lifter or something like that, or if you're working out with one of your kids or a younger sibling or something, it could be a little bit more difficult for some people to adjust. And the annoyances don't end there. And keep in mind that these next things that I'm about to say aren't really that big of a deal, but just could have been improved. For example, the tolerances on the tubes, very loose. I mean, just look how much that shifts. Now, it's not the end of the world, because there is a knurled set screw on the back as well as one on the side. And so you can lock this thing down to where like it hardly moves at all. Actually, this isn't moving at all. It's the attachment that has a little bit of play in it still. So this is completely locked to the base. And then the same with the front port, has the same 2 knobs. And this dude There's a little bit of play in the pop pin, which you can't tell that in use, and it's the same as the play with the pop pin with the rep. But as far as the twisting in the post, it's absolutely gone. And so it's not the end of the world, because you can tighten it down to the point where you don't feel it at all in use, but it's just the fact that you have to tighten it down so that you don't feel it in use. And there's a lack of plastic inside the tube to keep this from getting scratched up over time. And there's just a few missed opportunities that would have taken this up to the next level. If the tolerances would have been a little bit tighter, if you put the plastic lining in there, make the tolerances a little bit tighter, and this thing suddenly feels like a much more premium product. However, I kind of go back and forth on how mad I can actually be at those fit and finish compromises, because this thing comes in at a super aggressive price point at only $200 for the base, $55 for the roller, and $100 for the full back pad. We're coming in at $355 if you buy the whole shebang, and of course, plus shipping, whatever that comes out to be to your area. And so depending on how many of the pieces that you buy, this actually comes at a pretty aggressive price point. So you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons there. That's the battle when you're trying to come in at more of the budget end of the premium product category. Since they're coming in at such an aggressive price point, they just really had to cut some corners to add this level of versatility at the price point that they wanted to hit. The vinyl is good, but not the best vinyl I've ever seen. The padding is good, but not the best padding I've ever seen. The leg rollers, same thing. Padding is pretty good, not the best ever. And of course, same with the vinyl. Now, one thing I do wish was different about the leg roller is I wish the leg roller was much beefier, like with the Rep Pegasus, because I think they were looking at this spacing from the standpoint of wanting to be able to attach this full back pad. And so it does stick out quite far, and you're a little bit further from the leg rollers than what I would really like. And so if they would have made bigger leg rollers, that would have helped, because the bigger leg rollers would have brought it closer to the seat. And so I do find that when I use this for lat pulls, I do sit pretty far up on the seat to make sure that my legs are nice and secure under the leg rollers. And as you can see, the adjustments are quite quick. Pull the pin, change the height, lock it down, and you're good to go. So if you're training with a spouse or a younger sibling or your kid, and you need to change the height of the pad between every set, not an issue at all. Now with me, I have no one to work out with in the garage because my son's not old enough yet, and my wife is too fancy to work out in the garage because she says it's yucky. And because I'm very creative, that is the third video where I'm recycling that same joke. And with a piece of equipment like this, your imagination really is the limit, because with the seat pad, you can do lat pulls, but then you can also do things like chest supported rows, incline bicep curls, incline dumbbell bench press, incline flies, hip thrusts. You can pull the seat off and slot the leg roller onto the front. I like to tilt it forward just a little bit. Gives you a little bit of space further away from the rack, and then you can use it for all sorts of other exercises like Bulgarian split squats, Nordic curls, and sit-up variations. And because I'm a smart cookie, I figured out that you can actually take the leg roller out and insert it in upside down so that it's sticking down toward the ground instead of up in the air, to make exercises like Nordic curls or sit-ups easier to do. Just like Rep did with the Pegasus, GetRx missed a golden opportunity with the Optimus by not allowing some sort of channel for the cable to pass through. Most 3x3 upright cable systems, including GetRX's Tornado Rack, has the cable passing out of the top of the trolley right in front of the upright. So if you want to use this off of one side of a Tornado Rack or a Rep Aries 1.0 or a Rep Adonis or several other cable systems like this, you just can't use low cable exercises. Now, if you have a dual cable system with a center post attachment, then you have an easy workaround. You just attach this to the center and use dual cables instead of a single cable, and you're good to go. But if you only have one upright and it works like I just mentioned, you're kind of out of luck. If you want to see more content just like this, consider subscribing. And the back pad really does unlock just a little bit more versatility versus what you can do with other similar attachments like with the Pegasus. You can take the seat off and use just the back pad as a pad to do isolation press down without using any momentum. You can attach this to the center post and you can do seated incline cable exercises. And yes, some of you may be saying, well, you could just use your incline bench. And yes, you technically would be correct. However, since this is actually locked to your rack, it has the benefit of it's always center instead of being close to center if you're wheeling in your bench, and you don't have to worry about being slowly scooted back by the weight because you're locked to the frame of the rack. But with that said, yes, you're not in every instance unlocking a whole new level of versatility because you can technically just use an incline bench for a lot of the same exercises. And one thing that kind of limits the back pad that GetRXd could very easily fix is there are only adjustment holes on one side. If we flip this over, you'll see there are no holes on this side of the tube, which makes it a little bit more annoying because this pop pin is coming off the back of this tube. This pop pin is coming off the front of this tube. So if you want to attach this full back pad to the front, you have to attach it upside down, which also brings up the same problem with the seat pad. There's only holes on one side, no holes on this side, which means you can only have this in the rack facing orientation, which is a little bit weird because if you want to use this as an upright bench, when you are on your bench, like that bench or any other bench, which way does the narrow end go? It goes towards your knees. Whereas this, the wide part is going out towards your knees. It's not a deal breaker, and honestly, it doesn't feel that awkward and it doesn't really prevent you from doing anything, but it is just a little bit off feeling that the narrow part is under your butt and the wide part is between your legs, making it slightly more difficult to straddle. Now, it is one thing for a machine to be able to perform a lot of functions, but it's a different thing altogether to be good at doing each of those functions. And it's a little bit of a mixed bag because in some ways, the Optimus is better than other dedicated attachments. And then with some of the functions, it's worse than dedicated attachments. An example of where it is better is with the chest support pad. And the Optimus pad is actually better even than the dedicated seal row attachment. And that's because it has this dedicated tapering all the way down to 7.5 inches, which allows for better scapular retraction when you're doing seal rows. The leg roller, on the other hand, is not quite as good as having a dedicated high quality leg roller. It's definitely good enough, and you're not gonna feel the need to separately have a leg roller if you have this. And in fact, I actually have a Rogue dedicated leg roller up here that primarily serves as a place to hang my Kensei weighted vest. And when I'm doing Bulgarian split squats or similar exercises, I actually use this significantly more often than I use that. And in fact, now that I think about it, I don't think I have used that since I have had the Optimus leg roller. Now, after hearing me complain about the Optimus for most of this video, you might be thinking that I probably don't like it all that much. And you would be incorrect. I actually love the Optimus and I use it in most of my workouts. The problem is just that I like it so much and it's almost exactly what I want it to be, but it's not quite there. Because they had to cut a bunch of corners to be able to hit the price point that they wanted to hit, there's just a few things that could have been better and could have made this just absolutely no-brainer, top tier. You shouldn't even consider any other option. And they were right there, right there. So final verdict. I think this is a worthy pickup, hands down. I think this is a great attachment for a great price. As far as value to money, I don't know that you can beat this. And while I would never recommend anybody buy any product based off of what a company might do to build upon that product in the future, it does have me hopeful that this is kind of a miniature ecosystem that they can continue to build on top of. So what do you think? Do you think that the Optimus is a worthy pickup? And if you want me to continue reviewing versatile or unique pieces of equipment like this, let me know what you want me to review next down in the comments. As always, God bless you and your family, and we'll see you in the next one. Now, and speaking,